If you're watching this video, you've probably heard of growth operating, but you've yet to sign your first client. And in this video, we're gonna fix just that. I'm gonna show you how to sign your first growth operating client, even if you have 0 followers, no case studies, or no clue where to start. And this isn't just a theory. This is the exact same system I've used to sign dozens of growth operating clients, and the same ones all of my students are currently using, like Caleb, who just signed his first growth operating client with just 7 days and is now making over $7,000 a month. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you access to something that will fast track your success. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first thing first is your Instagram profile. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand is that if you're doing outreach, every single person that is going to reply to your message, that is going to give you a chance, will check your profile. And if your profile is not up to par or promising them that you're gonna make them $30,000 a month and they go check your profile, there's no results, it doesn't look professional, they're not gonna give you or pay you any mind. So the first and most important thing is having your Instagram profile. So the first thing first is your Instagram profile. I'm gonna pop up an image right here of Caleb's Instagram profile so you guys can take a look at it. As you can see, the first headline Caleb has is exactly what he does. He calls out his exact ICP, and ICP stands for Ideal Client Profile. And what he does is he helps educational creators scale through info products. If I go to your Instagram and there is nothing that tells me exactly what you do within the first 10 seconds, I'm literally gonna go swipe off and go back to doing whatever I was doing. Now, the second thing, if you have results, great, you put it there. If you don't have results, then you link them to some sort of YouTube channel, or maybe to get a free guide or a free PDF that you have. As you can see, in Caleb's case, he had a result, right? He scaled the creator to $40,000 a month in 30 days, which helped him. But at the time when we were working together, he did not have any clients. So if you have a result, obviously put it there. Then the next thing is a call to action, telling them exactly what to do if they want to take the next step. So that's Caleb's perspective. Now let's go back and I'm going to show you exactly also my Instagram profile so you can take a look. I'm going to pop it up right here. Now with this Instagram, it's slightly a bit different because what I do is I sell coaching for people who want to do exactly what I do, and I also sell my systems. So the first thing is exactly what I do, which is AI operating, growth operating, whatever you want to call it. The next thing is exactly what I do. I scale coaching program. Third thing is any sort of results that I have, $1 million plus generate. Fourth thing is a call to action for the next step if they want my systems or they want to learn more. And for me, it's DM me to work with me one-on-one. And then under that, there's a link where they could go and book a call. Now, this is extremely important, but a lot of people mess this up just because they don't think that people are looking. But understand, almost every single person that will give you a chance as a growth operator is gonna go and check your Instagram. And if your Instagram is not up to par, guess what's gonna happen? They're going to leave and they're not gonna give you a chance. Now, there's a little bit of misinformation out there when it comes to your Instagram profile. Here's a couple of do's and don'ts just so you understand what you should and you shouldn't do, because ultimately everything is different. And I want to make this video lifelong so that people could come and watch this 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, and they could still get some sort of information out of this. So some of the do's is do not have multiple call to actions. If you're sending people to 2 different places, they're gonna get lost, and a lost buyer does not buy. The second thing is if I go on your Instagram and I don't know what you do within the first 5 seconds, you need to reiterate it. You don't want a long headline calling out your ICP. You don't want a long or big call to action or anything like that. If I go and check it, I should be able to tell exactly what you do as soon as possible. Those are 2 of the don'ts right there. Now, some of the do's is if you have any sort of results, even if you were a setter or a closer or anything in the past that you can utilize to show more credibility, use it. Now, that's it for your profile. Now, let's get into messaging. Now, what do I say? Now, you're probably sitting here wondering, Edmund, is there a perfect script to say? Is this gonna, get me a client in 10 days? No, it's not. There is no perfect script. And if there was a perfect script, I would give it to you and it would stop working because everyone would use it. But what I can tell you is what does and doesn't work. So there's one main goal when it comes to doing outreach, is to get out of the request or the hidden folder. If you could get out of the request or the hidden folder, your chances of acquiring that client is much, much, much higher. And that's simply because they have actually seen your message. Now, I'm gonna give you the exact blueprint that I use with outreach and that my clients currently use right now. So since you know that the main goal is to get out of the request folder, what you have to induce is curiosity. They have to be curious about who you are, what you're trying to sell them, why you're texting them, right? So what you wanna do is say something along the lines of, Jonathan, ? Hey, ? Are you selling info? ? You have to create some sort of curiosity that they want to engage with you, or they want to just learn more. Now, once you do that and you get a response back from them, that's when you just straight up pitch whatever you have to pitch in 10 to 15 seconds or less. Right? For example, let's just say I'm outreaching to a trader. The voice memo will be something along the lines of, hey Jeff, I help traders scale to X amount of money in 30 days or less. Let me know if that's something you're interested in and I'll let you know more about. Boom, 10, 15 seconds max, right? Now, the reason why I tell you guys to do voice memo instead of just a regular text is because a text, they could just look at it and realize real quick what it is, and then they'll just swipe out and they don't even know your offer, right? They don't know if you actually can get them what you promised, right? Whereas with a voice memo, they kind of have to listen, right? And it's a 10-second voice memo, and make sure it's not anything longer realistically than like 15 seconds because they're not gonna listen to it. And if it's a 10-second voice memo, they're gonna listen to it. And by this time, they're gonna know your offer. Whether they do decide to go with you or not, they will know your offer. And that's ultimately all that matters. Making sure that they know your offer. Once they know your offer, then you can proceed, and do whatever you need to do. Now, if you get a positive reply or something along the lines is yes, all you then do is say, are you free real quick for a 3 to 5 minute call? And then you just call them up on Instagram. You don't go and send them a Calendly link. You don't send them to this website. None of that. You just call them up straight up on Instagram. And the reason why I say Instagram, it's less barrier, it's easy. And if you're on top of it and they're replying and they reply to you and you get back to them within like 10, 15 seconds, they're gonna be on their phone and they're going to reply. So that's exactly what you need to do. And with this call, you just simply understand where they are and what issues they have and how you can help them fix it. Now, this call should be 3 to 5 minutes. Don't elongate it. Don't take too much of the time unless like they allow you to. And then from there, you wanna get their personal phone number and then set a actual call with them. Now, the way I would go about that once I figure out where they currently are, the issues they're facing and where they want to go is something along the lines of, bro, that's really, really good. I could actually make you a game plan. Are you free, later today for like a 30-minute call on Zoom or something like that to actually see how I can help you? And they'll say yes or no. If they are, boom, you book them, you get their personal phone number, and then you go through there. Right? And something else that you're seeing is you want to get higher and higher in the, I wouldn't say intent level. It started off as just a cold message, and then a voice memo, and then a phone call, and then their personal phone number, and then actually taking 30 minutes of their time on an actual call. So that's the way you want to get with messaging. Now, let's just say none of this comes to fruition and they don't answer, they don't give you a positive reply. Then you just want to continue following up with them every 3 to 5 days. Now, do 2 follow-up messages because understand that they are busy, and even if they don't answer your first message, they may answer your second or third message. Now, that's then gonna lead us to the sales system. Once you're on the call, it's very, very, very simple. A lot of people tend to overcomplicate this because they think, oh, I need to handle this objection, or what if they say this? I'm gonna give you an exact framework that I use to close numerous of growth operating clients. So when you hop on a sales call, there's 3 main things, and this is the way that I personally look at it. Yours may be different, but this is what works for me. There's 3 parts of a sales call. There's the discovery, presentation, and then there's closing the call. The discovery, what you're trying to do is figure out where they currently are with their coaching offer and where they want to go and why they aren't there yet. That's all you're trying to do. Now, figuring out where they are is how much money do you make? What issues are you currently facing? How long have you been facing this? Things like that. Figuring out why they haven't gone there is questions like, well, why haven't you got there? What type of methods have you tried? How long have you been facing this issue? Have you reached out for help in the past, right? You really want to figure out why they haven't taken that next step. Because if you don't make this gap as big as humanly possible and allow them to understand that some change has to happen, what's going to happen is that when you're going to get to the point where you're going to pitch them the offer, they're going to say something along the lines of, oh, I want to try it out by myself first. Or, oh, I think I need a little bit more time, or I think I'm not ready, which are objections that are very, very hard to handle. So you want to create that gap and make it as far as humanly possible. All right. So once again, where they are, where they want to go, and why they haven't gone there yet. Now, to figure out where they want to go is very simple. Like in 3 months, where do you want to get to? Right? Like, is this more like of a time thing? You want more time back, or do you just trying to make more money? What does your life look like when you're making $100,000 a month with your coaching program, right? Those are the exact questions that you want to ask them to figure out where they want to go. And then from there, once you figure out where they are, where they want to go, why they haven't got there, then you present your offer. Now, me specifically, I present my offer on a Canva presentation. I show who I am, my sales manager, what we actually set up, right? Like the actual systems that we set up, because I have a setup. The actual systems that I set up, then I show them some proof testimonials, case studies on that presentation call. And then last but not least, what the next 10 days can look like if we work together. And then from there, I simply ask them, bro, do you have any questions? And if they have questions, I answer them. If they don't have questions, it's something along the lines of, hey, bro, do you have any questions outside of the price? And if the answer is no, I'll say something like, all right, bro, so the one-time fee is $5,000 and 20% of cash collected to me, 10% of cash collected to the closer, 5% to the setter, which comes out to a total of 35% cash collected for every payment that we make. Do you have any questions regarding that? And then boom, if they're ready to move forward, obviously we move forward. If they're not ready to move forward, then I handle objections. But if you do that properly, then you shouldn't have any objections. Now, you might be wondering, how do I do my pricing? Now, if you're someone who has no results, no case studies, your biggest thing is getting your first client. You have to do whatever it takes. And typically that's gonna be not having a setup fee. So you're not gonna have a setup fee. You're gonna take anywhere between 15 to 20% for yourself. As a whole with a sales team, it's gonna be more like 35 to 40%, right? Once you get that first client, then it's getting them results. Now, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. And like I said, at the end of this video, I have something for you. If you're someone who has heard this advice or you've been struggling for months and haven't been able to get a client, Caleb joined my mentorship a few weeks ago and he now has a growth operating client and is making $7,000 a month. If you want the same exact thing, click the link below. It's gonna be a Typeform or to my Instagram, DM me or complete the Typeform, whichever one's down there, for more information about my one-on-one mentorship where I guarantee you a client. That's gonna do it for the video. If you're a coach or consultant that wants to work with me specifically, click that second link. I have an offer for you too. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time.